Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. I'm feeling a little pumped today because I realized that for a lot of those big banks, they're in a world of proof of concept or a building phase or a transitional phase or an upgrade phase or a testing phase, or some of them are even in a phase of delay. But Ripple and XRP are in an execution phase, actually an explosive growth phase, especially in Asia. I have two updates to bring you. And should the world not be paying attention, I think this Ripple train has just sounded the last all on board call. And if you don't get on, you may just be missing your chance. So today, Ripple has captured Thailand in a big way. This corridor, which is 6.7 billion and one of the most expensive corridors to move money in and out of, well, there is someone who is seizing this opportunity, and it is Ripple's on-demand liquidity partner, the ODL partner that uses the XRP digital asset, Azimo. They have partnered with the Siam Commercial Bank, launching instant cross-border payments from Europe to Thailand. Now, Siam Commercial Bank runs on Ripple. They are a big-time Ripplenet partner. They were first playing with that technology a few years ago when they were invited to do so with SBI Japan. And you can see now that they want to bring this payment system to provide service to migrant workers in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. Now, are these countries just random because they happen to be in Southeast Asia or close by Thailand? No, not at all. When we look at Cambodia, April 2nd, SBI just got their upgraded full-fledged banking license with SBI LY Our Bank. And Laos, no problem there. Siam Commercial Bank has a bank branch. And what about Vietnam? No problem. Just in the last 2 months, we saw a strategic investment made by SBI, and they have TP Bank in Vietnam. And what about Myanmar? Well, as of February, Siam Commercial Bank was waiting for approval from the central bank in Myanmar to obtain its own license. And about 5 hours ago, yatta, as we say in Japanese, which means we did it. So their application was awarded that license. You can see it right here. Do you see what's happening? I mean, do you really see what's happening? These Ripple rails are crisscrossing all over the globe. And as Naveen Gupta says in his interview that he had with Finance Magnates this week on April 7th, this 27-minute interview is really good. I'm going to put a link to it in the description below, but it was the part about regulations that I found most valuable. He's talking about how they have Ripplenet throughout India, but India is still a little bit hesitant, cautious, slow, waiting, can't really get over the hump when it comes to digital assets. It is not ahead of the curve like Mexico, Japan, and the Philippines, as he mentions in the interview. And what he says is that as an advocate of the digital asset XRP, it is really something that they want their partners to use. And they have the strategy to get the rail in and then bring those countries that are still on the sidelines waiting to see the facts and figures and how it benefits these other countries so that they can see how it'll benefit them, and not only benefit the banks, but also benefit their customers. So this strategy, in my opinion, is working. And so when you think about Southeast Asia, I also want you to think about north part of Asia. I'm going to take you a little north now to Korea. This is South Korea, where yesterday Ripple put this article on their website, and it's all about Coin One. And they got started with Ripplenet, first with SBI Japan in their mobile app a couple of years ago. But now Coin One has joined fully as a full-fledged Ripplenet partner. And in this article, they are going now into Thailand, Philippines, and Sri Lanka with partnerships. So it's interesting to see how all this synergy is taking off. And beautiful Emmy, which I really think she should use this picture for her profile. I think it's just great. She was in the Korean press yesterday, and she talks about it's just not Coin One, but also Centbee and Hampass. They have also joined Ripplenet, and they're trying to maximize off of the synergy. Mr. Kitao, the CEO of SBI, has been putting that word synergy on his blockchain SBI Ripple Asia presentation slides for 4 years now. But you can see what he meant. And in this article, we also know that Singapore is part of that synergy. Okay, so why am I pumped? Well, the remittance space for cross-borders is huge. Everybody knows that. And there are lots of players trying to grab their real estate. There are 7 projects that I think, if you're following this space carefully, you want to continue to follow their progress. And that is the Finality, the Ubin project, the Jasper project, the Lion Rock project, the Federal Reserve, and of course, Swift. I'm going to just share with you a little memory technique I have. I create a sentence to help me remember all those projects. And my sentence goes like this. Finally, you've been clearing Jasper from the Lion Rock Ripple reserves swiftly. Now you think that might be crazy, but it works for me because the word finally reminds me of finality. They began in 2019, but they are in the building process still. They're going to use a utility settlement coin. It's very much a walled garden. There's Santander, ING, UBS, Credit Suisse, all the big names. It's a consortium of banks, and they think they will be ready possibly late 2020. Okay, Ubin. Finally, Ubin clearing Jasper. Well, Ubin is a project with the Monetary Authority of Singapore and JP Morgan. They are using Hyperledger Fabric with an API layer in JavaScript. I think that's the API layer in Java that was written by NTT Data and Ripple and Everest Group to make sure that it is interoperable with Hyperledger. I really do think so. But they're still in their experimental phase. And this is a phase 5 where they are testing cross borders. Okay, you've been clearing. Clearing is the Clearinghouse Association. They're in a huge battle. They are operational, yes, and they do move these high value payments through the interbanks, but they're battling with the Federal Reserve. And there is just a lot of drama because they are trying to hold their real estate while the Federal Reserve is also trying to create a real-time gross settlement payments system. Okay, Jasper, clearing Jasper. Jasper launched in 2016. It was a proof of concept for distributed ledger technology. They first used Ethereum, and now they have moved to R3. And it is really kind of led by the Bank of Canada and Accenture. And they're moving into phase 3, getting close to test a CBDC coin, which we all know doesn't solve the cross-border situation. Okay, clearing Jasper from the Lion Rock. Lion Rock is actually a Hong Kong project, which is going to now test a CBDC with Thailand. So still, I think they use the word explore. Okay, so they're exploring. All right, Ripple, of course. operational, executing, and explosive growth. Ripple Reserves. Reserves is for the Federal Reserve, and they're trying to get that faster payment system together. I don't know. They're just having just a whole lot of drama with the clearinghouse, and it's to be seen still, because they think if they get it done, it could be done in 2024. And then getting that Ripple Reserves swiftly, of course, Swift, which just delayed their migration for cross borders. And they think they can get it back on track by 2022. So this is my point. We've just got a lot of people who aren't making that clear execution like Ripple is. Now, everybody's probably going to leave comments. Well, what about the price? How come we don't see the price? Well, when those regulations are in place and we've got those Ripplenet rails and ODL in those top 50 target corridors where the partners can be bouncing off the walls with synergy and throw in a little bit of FOMO to make things interesting. And as Ashish Birla just said, it's going to be really taking off in the next 2 years. That's my answer. Takes time still. So maybe you do have the time, maybe you don't. But I said this train just gave its call. And if you are interested in what Bank of America is doing, since they are a new Ripplenet partner, there is a webcast on Tuesday, the 28th of April from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you can learn about how blockchain technology is leveraged in the fintech world at Bank of America. How interesting will that be? I signed up. I hope you will too. And a big shout out to VeChain. VeChain is tracking breathing masks daily. And this verifies that those masks are the real item and that they're authentic and not counterfeits, which is really important right now, because we just can't take the chance of anything not being authentic, because that could be really, really dangerous. And they're doing it with an NFT chip. So I just think VeChain's doing a lot of really good stuff. Okay, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff. I'm taking you to Gifu today. Gifu is in the middle of the country. Here is Tokyo. Here is Nagoya, where all the hosts and hostesses went because they are not under a state of emergency right now. There's Osaka, and there is Kyoto. And in the middle of Gifu is a small city called Seki. It's about 3.5 hours from Tokyo. It's a small community, 89,000 people. It's traditional, it's isolated, and it is unique. A lot of people go there to see the Monet's garden. They have replicated Monet's garden in a really, really beautiful way. And for me, I want to see it because I want to identify the species of koi, which is what I love to do. But that's not why I'm bringing you the fluff today. I want to talk about this landlocked region and how it is the center for Japan in sword making. And it has been that way since the Kamakura era, or some 700 years ago. And this city of Seki, which has been making the most popular swords for samurais for hundreds of years, now makes high quality tools. And there's a company called Nikken, and you can also find their tools on Amazon, but they do the same skills of sword making that they do in their business that they established in 1946. They are descendants of the swordsmiths. And if you go visit the museum, you can also see a demonstration of how they forge the steel. I just want to see this as well. Looks very fun to watch. But there's a new product they just launched, And these are handcrafted knives. They are extremely sharp, and they're made to use, not to display. And all three of the designs have been inspired by three famous swordsmen. This bottom one here is inspired by Droma Sakamoto. He was a samurai that pushed for the modernization of Japan. This one with the pink handle and the black and yellow sheath, this is Nobunaga Oda. And this color, these colors were the clan colors. He was a very famous warlord. And the middle one here is Toshizo Hijikata. He was the vice commander of the Shinsengumi. The Shinsengumi was a very scary samurai police force at the end of the Edo era. And actually, they clashed with the ideology with Romo Sakamoto. Romo Sakamoto was assassinated. It's not clear who actually assassinated, although it is speculated that it was somebody from the Shinsengumi. All right, so the cutting boards also are available to match, and they have the crest of each one of those famous samurais. And the knives sell for around 7,000 yen, so it's just a little under 70 US dollar, and the cutting boards are about $40. And like I said, you can get them on Amazon, but I'll also try to remember to put a link into the store products of the maker. And here is, up in Hokkaido, a really handsome statue of Hijikata. And you can see he has his crest in gold right there. I think this is a really good looking statue. And if you are into history, you can visit the place where he fell during his last battle in Hakodate. And it's got a humble memorial stone that was placed there, and yeah, flowers are still brought on a regular basis. You know, even in Japan, this era is kind of romanticized. And I went to and visited the grave of Kondo, who was the commander of the Shinsengumi. I went to check it out up in Itabashi, and it too had lots and lots of fresh flowers. So people are still feeling very sentimental to those samurai. Okay, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.